Had I an opportunity, I couldn't have scripted this better myself. Back-to-back game-winning shots by these Splash Brothers 9 seasons after winning their first championship together is without a doubt poetry in motion offense.
Draymond down to 4. What a great defender at 3. Curry sides to Curry, drive, Curry flip.
Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is Swish Culture. The NBA just had its first dose of the in-season tournament featuring Golden State versus Oklahoma City. What you are about to hear will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about NBA basketball. Chet Holmgren, a 21-year-old, was OKC's second overall pick in 2022. He was injured his entire first year in the league, so this is in fact his rookie season. Josh Giddey, also 21, was selected with the 6th overall pick back in 2021 and is in his third year. Cason Wallace is only 19 and was selected 10th overall back in June of this year. The only reason he's in the lineup is due to the team missing its star player in 25-year-old Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, aka SGA. Next up is 22-year-old Jalen Williams, who was the 12th overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft. That leaves a former undrafted player, Lou Dort, who eventually joined the team through a G League call-up as the sole veteran of the team at a ripe 24 years old. This game is basically a bunch of kids versus a team of world-class athletes. Roll the tape. Almost halfway through the third quarter, and the scores looked almost as expected. The point differential is 6. Okay, so clearly the Warriors are taking it easy on the Thunder, and they're probably resting the starters and just playing the guys on the bench. But wait a second here. Something seems off. This doesn't make any sense. Why does my screen say the Oklahoma City Thunder have the lead? That couldn't possibly be. The OKC Thunder is somehow, through 3 quarters, not only staying neck and neck with the Warriors, but have a 2-possession lead. On top of that, the team was fully healthy and Steph Curry has been playing the entire game. While I recovered from the shock, I watched OKC go to the wire against the Warriors in the highest combined scoring game so far this season. As I finished watching the game, I had one and only one question. How did this young team of recent draft picks almost smash the former champions? Oklahoma City is an interesting team. Formerly known as the Supersonics, the team relocated from Seattle in 2008. Since then, the Thunder have had some of the wildest swings in talent and not a whole lot to show for it. What the Thunder are doing right now, however, is reminiscent of what they've done in past years. The players and names have changed, but the strategy remains the same. This is the same team that drafted Kevin Durant in 2007 at 2nd overall, Russell Westbrook in 2008 at 4th overall, and James Harden in 2009 at 3rd overall. All 3 players became superstars, either winning MVPs as in the case of Westbrook and Harden, or winning championships as in the case of Kevin Durant. Aside from Westbrook's MVP season, none of the aforementioned accolades came while these players were with the Thunder. What they did manage to accomplish, however, was a trip to the NBA Finals in 2012, where a 27-year-old LeBron James in Miami, a 30-year-old D. Wade, and a 28-year-old Chris Bosh beat a 25-year-old Kevin Durant with Kendrick Perkins and a Russell Westbrook still 5 years away from his prime. Harden left for the Rockets in 2012, KD left for the Warriors in 2016, and Westbrook finally left for the Rockets to join Harden in 2019. All this is to say, the Thunder have never had any problem with drafting talent. After the Thunder vs. Warriors game, we might be catching a glimpse of the next wave of NBA superstars. So first off, this game was an in-season tournament game. The tournament, which started on November 3rd, will continue through December 9th, with select matchups being considered for tournament participation. There are 6 groups of 5 teams, with each conference, East and West, containing 3 groups each. Tuesdays and Fridays will see each team face off against members of their group, with a single game elimination tournament to follow for the winners of each group. The last 2 remaining teams will face off in a single championship game that is not counted as a part of the regular season matchups. So both participants in the championship game for the tournament will play in 83 games for the regular season. So the stage is set, the stakes are high, And these are clearly talented young players scouted and handpicked by Sam Presti, the same general manager responsible for drafting all three of KD, Westbrook, and Harden. But there was one other factor that came into play that put the Warriors on their toes and forced them to play with their highest offensive effort of the season. These 5 players that I mentioned, one 19-year-old, two 21-year-olds, a 22-year-old, and a 24-year-old, made the former champs work harder than any other team this year. Oklahoma City was shooting lights out.
Holmgren, the baseline. Someone's going to have to take a shot. And there is the three from Lou Dort in the corner. Chet up on the drive. Off balance, contorted his body, and still got it up off the glass.
The team shot a combined 62% from the field and a ridiculous 52% from three. This young team scored 139 points on what is currently the best team in the league based on their record on only 83 field goal attempts, giving them a true shooting percentage of 72. As a team, to put things into perspective, centers typically have the highest true shooting percentage because they usually take close-range shots around the rim. Jokic, for example, had a true shooting percentage of 68.2% for the 2022 to 2023 season. This means that the average player on OKC was more efficient than the man that was arguably the best player in the league last season. Mason Plumlee, who actually led the league in true shooting percentage last year, only shot 69.7%. Plumlee doesn't shoot threes, doesn't even take mid-range shots. He does layups and dunks and the occasional free throw. My bad. Wrong clip. This means that OKC shot better than the most efficient scorer in the league, getting dunks and layups every time he shoots the ball. And here's why. Lou Dort hit his first 9 shots of the game, 6 of which were from three-point range. Contested or not, he let it fly and he hit every single time. Chet Holmgren, a player who's been mostly lost in all the hype of Victor Wembanyama, is still 7'1" with the same guard skill set. He's aggressive on both ends of the floor and plays with an edge that will make him a tough matchup despite this being his rookie year and despite his slender frame. While Josh Giddey had 18 points, it wasn't the number of points that caught my attention. It was the timing. Giddey poured in 14 of his 18 points in the fourth quarter. Jalen Williams had 8 assists to go with his 18 points. Last but not least, Cason Wallace played 36 minutes, more than anyone on the floor that night because he made his team better. Almost everything that these guys put up went into the basket. Talk about putting pressure on defenses. Giddey is a 6'8" point guard, so the length of this OKC team was on full display. Let me reiterate that this team played almost perfect basketball that would have taken out just about any playoff team. This was, in fact, playoff level basketball, and hypothetically speaking, if they kept up this level of play, would be able to contend for a title. They are going to be a problem for the next 10 years and are clearly ready for prime time. This team could pose some real trouble as early as next season. Despite this, however, they were still unable to take down the Golden State Warriors. Why? Well, for one, the Warriors have been here before. Had it not been for the championship pedigree of this team, we'd have likely seen a completely different outcome. With this experience, they forced 19 OKC turnovers, which is the most detrimental statistic to a team with such a high true shooting percentage. It also took a combined 13 threes from both Splash Brothers as well as Dario Saric on high efficiency to overcome this ridiculously talented and young team. Let's not forget that Draymond added a couple of three-pointers of his own early on to help the Warriors. Can I call that a double-triple? And you know what they say. Everyone's got a plan until Draymond starts hitting threes on the court. Chris Paul had 13 assists and the Warriors needed every last one. Look at this play, for example. Chris Paul is automatic in the mid-range, so when he pulls up to the elbow, OKC knows to contest the shot, except in this case, he fakes it, draws a second defender, and hits Dario Saric for the wide-open three. This is just an example of the chemistry and IQ between Chris Paul and Saric. In 6 games for the Warriors, CP3 made history by being the first Warrior to have 13 or more assists off the bench since Keith Jennings in 1994. He's also surpassed Larry Bird, who's 37th on the all-time scoring list, as well as Gary Payton II's dad. For those of you who don't know GP2's dad's name, please hit the subscribe button, then post your question in the comments below for the answer to automatically generate. Jonathan Kuminga had himself a night, dropping 19 points in just 22 minutes. He was an efficient 9 of 15 from the field, although he missed his 2 3-point attempts. This is definitely something we should watch closely, as his 3-point shot did regress compared to what we saw in the preseason, as he's shooting just under 24% from 3 so far. The thing with Kuminga is that he still plays very young with an eagerness to prove something, and while that isn't a bad thing, if he slowed things down and played with confidence, he'd realize the same level of production in the regular season as he did in the preseason. There's no reason for his 3-point percentage to be any less, as they don't consider him to be a legit threat and he's mostly open for these shots. The other thing is that his shot release is still a bit slow, and once guys start closing out on him with intent instead of just a reflexive action at the last second, this will become more necessary. His slow shooting will be improved as he's clearly working on his shot, but it's still important to point that out. His point of attack defense has been consistent, and he's even improved his ability to defend without fouling, only getting caught twice. He's got more work to do, so let's see if he is able to relax and not get too frustrated when things don't work out as he's expecting. What was really unexpected was that Steph Curry would end the matchup with the Thunder the same way Klay Thompson did. With time running out on the clock, the chef sized up OKC's best defender in Lou Dort. His rhythmic dribbles attempting to lull Dort into a false sense of security in a one-on-one battle with ISO Curry. But if there's one fact you guys know about this channel, is that nobody guards Wardell Stephen Curry II one-on-one. Nobody. The quick between the leg cross to the left alerted Dort to Curry's impending drive to the basket, causing him to reach. Only that lefty drive was a bigger fraud than 2020 Laker championship. Apologies there. Must have caught COVID or something. This threw off Dort's balance, which gave Curry just enough room to drive right, and knowing the defender rotating to cover Dort, releases a high layup off the glass to seal the win, with 0.2 seconds left on the clock. If I had a dime for every time Steph Curry has either gotten a game winner on OKC or just flat out abused this team, I'd have more money than Ja Morant is losing this season out of sheer stupidity. No, that wasn't a shot at Ja Morant. That layup almost didn't count as the refs blew the whistle for a potential basket interference by Draymond Green, who almost tipped it in. Had that call stood, it would have gone to overtime. But Dre didn't make contact and the call was overruled in the Warriors' favor. It was a fitting end to the most electrifying game so far this season. Steph Curry was also a 9 of 15, hitting 50% of his threes to continue his streak, now averaging 47.5% from 3. His shooting this season, combined with Chris Paul's facilitating on the second unit, have been the two biggest reasons for the Warriors' 5-2 start. The thing that other teams need to realize with Steph Curry is that you don't want him shooting with such high efficiency. Steph Curry is already a high-volume shooter, and with the chef shooting 42 to 43% from deep, teams can somewhat live with that. Now you couple that higher efficiency with the same high volume that he's noted for, and that opens an entirely new can of worms. With Curry outrunning these young guys, and make no mistake about it, what Curry is doing running long distances on the court doesn't go away so quickly with age, and as long as he keeps moving, he'll get open. This makes it harder and harder for any one player to guard Steph Curry. At this point, it is up to Steve Kerr to think ahead. In these lineups, you might have to run Steph, CP3, and Draymond while floating between offenses. The current organized chaos of the motion offense is indeed poetry, but sometimes even a normally smooth running machine will need a hammer if it's not working as expected. That said, it looks like the West might have replaced the Grizzlies. The new young team to look out for is no longer Memphis, but Oklahoma City. Let me know if you think this Warriors team is going to the finals this year, or if the Oklahoma City Thunder will make the playoffs. Post your thoughts in the comments below, but before that, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. And thanks for watching. Till next time. Swish!